30 minutes of extra time.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.
Hello and welcome to They Think It's All Over. Now, it's been brought to our attention that in previous shows, our two team captains have come in for some frankly unjustified stick. So this week, it's Be Nice to David and Gary week. Captaining one side, the second highest run scorer in English Test history, David Gower, and accompanying him, a mouthy, bald bloke who retired from Victoria Park Junior High Jump team after he missed the mat completely and landed on his head. Lee Hurst. Leading the other side, England's finest striker of all time. Never been booked and scored 48 fabulous goals for his country, Gary Linekar. And with Gary, a beardy Neanderthal Arsenal supporter who gave up running marathons after his wide load sign fell off, Rory McGrath. With David this week, an England striker who plays in what's known in modern football as the hole, or as Rory McGrath calls it, White Hart Lane. Teddy Sheringham. Gary's special guest is a comedian who for the last 25 years has supported West Brom, a team nicknamed the Baggies on the grounds that that's what their shorts were like the last time they won anything. Frank Skinner.
How many trophies has Stoke won?
And the first round deals... Our first round deals with sporting excuses. David, Lee and Teddy, your excuse comes from Spain. Earlier this season, Seville's Real Betis, seen here playing local rival Sevilla, refused to let a season ticket holder into any more home games for the flimsy and pathetic reason that he had died the previous week. So what excuse were his family given for not being allowed to take the dead man into the ground?
Sounds to me like the sort of man actually they'd let into Stoke, isn't it?
Yes, you're probably right, David. What a fine joke and what a fine cricketer you were.
So I can say anything about you, like, why are you wearing Valerie Singleton's hair tonight?
Yes, you can say that.
Pleasure to meet you, mate.
Yes.
Nice to meet England striker. Because Gary used to do that, you know. Yeah. How's your toes, mate? All right. Very well. Because I think, you know, toes very important as a striker. I mean, Douglas Bader loses his legs, still flies in the Battle of Britain. Hey, oh, splintering my toe.
Yeah, he's a dead good bloke, though. He is. So, as I was saying, there's this bloke, right? He's dead. They won't let him into the ground. What was the club's excuse for not
You've got a
letting him?
dead fan going in. Is it because, like, he spoils the atmosphere? Because every time the Mexican wave gets through him, it just stops. Is it because it would upset, like, because, you know, if they started shouting out, who's the bastard in the black, the Undertaker would get upset.
Well, that's the closest so far.
It's all gone quiet over there. I think it's a good idea having dead people at the game, though, because it'd take the smell away from them burgers, wouldn't it?
It must be something peculiarly Spanish because it doesn't happen in England because Graham Kelly goes to every FA Cup final, doesn't he? I suppose week after week he looked less like the photo on his ID card.
I don't think we're going to get this, are we? Let's actually hear the explanation from a Real Betis fan.
His son had put his ashes in a glass container. So security wouldn't let him in.
He couldn't take a glass container of his father's ashes into the ground. I mean, it's coming to something, isn't it, when you can't take a bottle of pop to the game.
That's just so obvious, isn't it?
But happily...
That's the best joke I've ever heard.
You sad case.
No, I love that joke. That's great.
But happily they did reach a compromise.
So he put him in a milk cartoon. And so the next derby between Betis and Sevilla, the Sevilla fans waved lots of milk cartoons to pull our legs.
Yep. They actually put his ashes in a milk carton, and to prove it, we sent our cameras to Real Betis to capture the excitement of the local derby. So, Gary, Rory and Frank, another exotic foreign excuse for you. Yours comes from Airdrie, and their sometime goalkeeper Alan Davidson. Here he is in fine form for his previous club, Ards. Davidson's excuse for missing a key game was that he had a long-running addiction problem. And the question is, what did he say he was addicted to?
Was it drugs, drink and gambling, and he was away having a trial for Arsenal?
Is the correct answer.
Was he addicted to grandstand? Well, didn't miss a game then, didn't he? You know, on a question of sport, that would have got a round of applause, that joke. Could have been sitting in there. You could have asked me questions about the up-and-coming European Championships, whether I was going to get a medal. You know, that really boring bit when David asked them a serious question and they say, yeah, I've had a few injuries, but we're quite confident.
Well, it just goes to show they know what they're doing, because that's the biggest laugh you've had so far.
Addiction?
Yeah, addiction.
Sherry, can I ask you a question? Are you addicted?
Have you seen on a question of sport now, Billy Beaumont has been in the chair instead of David. Fantastic. You know the lion had a Wizard of Oz. If the lion had a Wizard of Oz was in a car crash, it looked like Billy Beaumont. I was at the Edinburgh Festival and we went to see Airdrie play. Yeah. And when I swear this is
They played in the Edinburgh Festival?
No.
What were they doing? Airdrie FC performed The Real Inspector Hound by Tom Stoppard.
Oh dear, it's a bottle of pop and Real Inspector Hound back there in the league game. I was at the Edinburgh Festival and we went on the Saturday. We went to Airdrieonians to watch them play, and this is absolutely true. When Airdrie came out, the music they played was "Nobody Does It Better," which clearly isn't true.
Yeah, that's because there isn't a song called "We Are Crap."
Now, on a question of sport, 4 people would have walked out. 3 of them would have been panellists. Yeah. Just Bill sitting there going...
Now, let's let Alan himself explain.
I was addicted to pickled onions. The chip shop variety. And one night I was at a party and overdosed on the pickled onions.
Of course, one advantage of being addicted to pickled onions is that you get the penalty area to yourself. Well, brilliantly, after that 45-minute round, the scores are David's team 0 and Gary's team 0. Round 2 is our photo fit round. David, Lee and Teddy, here's yours.
I don't know his name right, but the bloke nearest to us, he's in the Guinness Book of Records. Because what he does, he swallows rugby players and he pulls them out of his penis.
I think that's definitely Mike Tyson.
Well, I'll give you one for Mike Tyson, definitely. Frank Bruno, incidentally, this week has said it's still his ambition to go 15 rounds with Mike Tyson. Another 8 fights should do it.
I went to Las Vegas to watch the fight.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. I got mixed up. I thought it was Tyson fighting Bruno Brooks. Which obviously I would have paid millions.